everyone, I'm Simple Batra. कैसे हैं आप सब? I'm back from Simple Digital School today. As we know, we have already started Unit 3 of Management Information Systems or Information Systems Management. Dear all, today we are going to cover one of the most important topic of MIS as well as of system analysis and designing. This is a common topic which comes in many papers like software engineering, management information systems, system analysis and designing also. I request all of you, please watch the video till end. I have tried to cover each and every sub part of SDLC in detail today. Do write down in the comment box if you have any queries regarding your examinations, how to grab marks, how to write the answers. If you have any kind of problems that you are facing, I will surely reply you back as per my experience. Today we have a topic, Software Development Lifecycle, SDLC. Whenever any information system has to be developed for the particular company, it has to follow the SDLC, right? Through the SDLC, integration of various aspects of input and output of the information system becomes possible. In any information system, all the inputs must be taken properly and integrated, and after the processing, output is given in a correct manner to the end user. This is done through the integration in SDLC. Now, SDLC defines the steps of life cycle of the development of any information system. This is very important to understand that SDLC है क्या? Steps of life cycle of development of any information system. Any information system which is to be developed, from where it will start, where it will end up, and what all steps it will follow. This is clearly defined in the SDLC, so that all of its components are integrated properly and the goal of the organization is achieved at the same time. So you can see कि most important part क्या है कि integration of all the components and goal of the organization, both must be achieved. Now let's see its exact definition. What is SDLC? The System Development Life Cycle is a step-by-step iterative process of developing an information system that can be used to develop an information system. This is a step-by-step approach through which we are looking forward to develop the information system. Now, what is the aim of the SDLC? It is to develop the high quality system so that it matches the customer requirements. Number one, it is time effective, that is, it must be made within the time limit, it has to be cost effective, and it has to be efficient in terms of working. Now again, SDLC defines a number of clearly defined phases, and in each phase a set of activities for the particular system. In SDLC, you have multiple phases which are clearly defined, and in each phase there are certain set of activities for the development of system. Each phase of SDLC uses outcome of the previous phase. This is important. You should know कि हर phase का जो outcome है, that becomes the input of the next phase also. Correct? SDLC is used by system engineers and system developers to plan, to design, to build, to test, and to deliver the information systems. So why we have SDLC? It is a planned system through which system engineers and system developers plan the information system, design the information system, build it, test it, and then deliver it for being used by the different levels of management as well as by the end users. SDLC aims to produce high quality systems that meet or exceed the customer expectations based on customer requirements by delivering systems which move through each clearly defined phase within scheduled time frames and cost estimates. You can see SDLC is looking forward to deliver the system for the customer, by the customer, keeping in mind all the customer requirements also. And every phase of the cycle defines the clear steps, and the work is scheduled within the given time and under the cost estimates. And the typical activities which are included in the SDLC: determining budgets. Why? Because it is very important to determine the budget in the very early phase of SDLC or development of information systems, so that the company is not going out of the budget. Gathering the business requirements so that all the requirements are taken care while developing the information systems. Determining the customer requirements, because customer is the king, he is going to use your system. Designing the appropriate models so that a complete good model can be used for development of the system. Writing the user documentation, this is very important, this we'll see further also. Now, these are the 7 phases of SDLC. You must include the diagrams, and I request, while answering the SDLC or software development life cycle, please write these entire lecture content in the SDLC if it comes for 10 marks or even of the 15 marks in the examination, because this question comes in the examination and you can get full marks if you will write all this. Planning is the first phase of SDLC. Second phase is analysis, design, then development, integration and testing is next one, and sixth one is implementation, seventh is maintenance. So we start from planning and go through all these phases and end up at maintenance phase. So this is how the cycle of SDLC moves. But before we jump to these phases, what is this? And if we talk about the total product cost, or we talk about the cost of the information system, तो डेवलपमेंट की कॉस्ट जिसमें हम रिक्वायरमेंट एनालिसिस, डिजाइन, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, एवरीथिंग वी इंक्लूड, that goes hardly 25%. The major cost of the product goes after it is delivered to the user. Means it is post-delivery maintenance cost. Once the software or information system or the product is used by the customers, more time, effort, money goes in the maintenance of that particular information system. That is 75%. Now we will quickly look in short, firstly the activities of every phase, then we'll go into the detail of every phase. Planning, to define the system, to set the project scope by conducting feasibility study, develop the project plan, analysis to gather the business functional requirements, design the technical architecture, system models, development to build the databases and programs, testing to write the test conditions, perform the testing, implementation to write down the user documentation, which is also called as user manual, providing the training, maintenance, build a help desk, support the system changes. Now, we have 7 phases of SDLC. This we have seen: planning, analysis, design, development, testing, implementation, and maintenance. Now we will look into each and every phase. They are very important to understand. First phase is planning. A concrete plan is made for developing the information system. Your planning must be done very carefully so that the information system which is developed must be able to incorporate what all is needed. Planning is the first phase, is most important to find out the scope of the problem and its various possible solutions. Basically, we look out for the scope of the problem and its various possible solutions and find out the best solution for the problem here. Planning is important at initial stage to determine costs, benefits, resource requirements, specific user needs required for the completion of the project. Here all activities related to achieve the desired goal are also listed in the form of the document called as project plan. So all the activities whichever is done and what all is the result of all those activities is listed in the form of a document. So the project plan is one of the important things done here in the planning phase. A project plan becomes the baseline of development of the process. अब हमारा project plan baseline है, तो how to develop this project plan? This is developed on the basis of feasibility study, which is very, very important. The development process started only after the feasibility study report is approved by the management. सबसे पहले feasibility study is conducted, the report is made ready, and on the basis of feasibility study, then the project plan is taken into consideration. A feasibility study has to be conducted to check if creating a new system or creating improved version of the system is viable solution or not. Now, यहाँ पर दो important चीजें हैं. One is creating a new system, other is improving a particular system. There can be two situations. Number one, we are improving a particular old existing system, right? Or we are creating an absolutely new system from the scratch. In both the cases, feasibility study will be done. Feasibility study tells us either to go for the development of a particular information system or not. Firstly, the operational feasibility is done. What is operational feasibility? If the system can work in user's environment or not. If the user is comfortable to operate with the proposed system or not, this is checked here. Financial or economic feasibility, this is in terms of cost benefit analysis, that if the proposed system can be developed within the given cost and can give you the actual benefits or not. Technical feasibility. Now this is very important to understand that if a system is proposed, then if it can be developed within the existing technologies or with the available resources or not. Human factors feasibility, all the people who are involved in developing the system and using the system, both they can understand the system well or not. Legal or political feasibility is important to understand that whichever system we are looking forward to develop or the proposed system must not conflict with the legal system. For example, अगर हम कोई online system develop कर रहे हैं, so it should not breach the cyber laws. So the important activities here are to conduct the feasible study. This is number one, and the other is the creating a project plan after doing the feasibility study. Phase 2, analysis. Now, feasibility study has been done in the phase 1 and project plan is ready now. They both are the inputs to this particular analysis phase. And the analysis phase here aims to find the operational and functional requirements of an intended project or information system by involving the end users. Here the aim is to analyze the system in terms of its all operations and its functional requirements so that the proposed information system involves the end users also and their requirements also. Now teams here involve the IT specialists whenever we are developing any new system or we are improving any old system. In both the cases, the IT specialists are involved in analysis phase. They gather the requirements, they understand the requirements, they analyze them and document them properly so that all the business requirements can be jotted down at a particular place. Also, end users are approached to gather and analyze all end user requirements to make the customer satisfied. They approach the end users or the customers to gather and analyze their requirements also. Gathering or elicitation is one or more the same thing. So do not get confused. If in the exam question comes requirements elicitation techniques, it means requirements gathering techniques only. Now the first way of gathering information is the brainstorming. What is it? Create a list of ideas of users and stakeholders. all the stakeholders and all the users, they give their ideas and they are listed down. Interviews, they can be formal or they can be informal interviews. Document analysis, basically they try to review any of the recent documents which are already available. जितने भी user manuals है, process manuals है और prior project reports है, they can analyze them, observe them, study them and come out of it with some ideas. Questionnaires or surveys. Now what happens when you have a large group of stakeholders? They try to gather information from them through the use of questionnaires or the survey. Now these days they can be done online also, but important is to be judicious about how you phrase your questions and the types of responses that will be collected. Means you are able to gather the correct information from the stakeholders through these questionnaires or surveys. Now these can be open-ended or they can be closed-ended. Workshops or focus groups. Workshops comprise stakeholders working together to identify the requirements. In case you want all the stakeholders who are working together to sit and discuss and come up with the innovative ideas, then this is the best way. That is the focus group or the workshop to identify the requirements or a cluster of a targeted customers. Prototyping is another way of gathering the requirements. That is, we are creating a picture, a model or a mock-up of a product which is a great elicitation tool or a requirements gathering tool. Now what is prototyping? We model all the requirements in the form of some diagram and try to analyze all the requirements. Observation. This is another technique to collect the requirements by observing the users or the stakeholders. Basically, we try to analyze all the users and stakeholders and try to gather the information about all the processes, inputs and outputs. Now, another technique is joint application development. This is also called as JAD. All the stakeholders and project teams, they work together to identify the requirements. Now in a JAD team, what is the difference? What all is new in the JAD team? It includes the business process owners, and these days client representatives are also a part of JAD team. Users or stakeholders are also a part of JAD team. Business analysts, project managers, IT experts, which include all developers, quality assurance, designers and security people. So basically JAD session tries to include each and every person who is responsible for developing the system or using the system or who is owning the system. Together they said they discuss openly and come out with the more and more innovative and creative ideas to develop the information system, gathering the functional requirements. Now all the functional requirements they all are written in the form of a system requirement specification or requirements definition documents. Whenever analysis phase is over, the outcome is system requirement specification document, or the same is called as requirements definition document, in which each and every requirement is written very clearly of the user, of the system, of the management people, what is expected to be done from the information system. So SRS becomes the baseline for agreement between end user and developers on what the system is to do. It is a complete description of its functions. SRS आपका agreement है in between the end user and the developer कि actually system क्या functionalities provide करेगा once it will be developed. Phase 3, design. Now as per the SRS and the various requirements defined in analysis phase, design phase में what is to be done? Most important is screen layouts, that is GUI design. Your information system whenever will be used, most important is its graphic user interface with which the user interacts. So designing of GUI is most important here. Designing all the business rules, this is the second part. Designing all the process diagrams, this is the third part. And the other documentation is prepared in the design phase. So the major work here is to design each and everything about the information system. Now the various diagrams are very important here, which are the part of a design phase. Data flow diagrams. This is very important. Now data flow diagrams are used here to depict the flow of data within the various modules of the information system. Use cases, that is a part of unified modeling language. This is also used where various entities act as actors and they interact with each other. Decision tables are used to depict and to show the various decisions made within the information system. ER diagrams, entity relationship diagrams, are very important to show all the tables of your DBMS, of your databases and the relationships existing within them, and along with the full data dictionary. Now data dictionary is very important for ER diagrams. Data dictionary contains all the metadata, that is data about data. Data dictionary contains all the in-depth definitions, details of all the ER diagrams and the data which is stored within the tables of the various databases. In the design phase, data flow diagrams, use cases, decision tables, ER diagrams, they play a vital role for the development of information systems. Design phase aims to develop the technical blueprint of how the proposed system will work. This gives a complete technical blueprint. The output of this stage will describe the new system as a collection of modules or subsystems where each module will provide one complete functionality. Basically, through the designs which are given in the design phase, you can see the entire system as a collection of modules or collection of various subsystems which are interconnected and they give the one complete functionality of the entire system. The design elements are intended to describe the system in sufficient detail in terms of functions, resources and entities incomplete. सब डिजाइन एलिमेंट्स जो यूज किए जाते हैं वो कंप्लीट डिटेल्स को इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हैं, इधर फंक्शंस, रिसोर्सेज और एंटिटीज सब कुछ इंक्लूड किया जाता है. So what are the important activities of the design phase? To create the logical design of a complete system, one logical diagram which can depict you the complete system, its sub-modules or subsystems and its interconnection very easily. और यहाँ पर both front-end and back-end design both are made ready. Front-end deals with all your graphic user interface, that is your front screens with which the users interact, and back-end design deals with all your database design, that is majorly your ER diagrams. Phase 4, development. Through the design phase, you have got a one complete logical design of your system. This phase takes design documents from the design phase and transforms it into the actual system. Here the target is to transform the logical design into the actual working system. Each of the component of the design is implemented as a program module. The end product of this phase is a set of program modules that can be integrated and implemented after testing them. So in this phase, the actual coding is done where the programmers actually work upon each and every module, do the coding of the same so that a set of program modules is become ready, which can be integrated and tested for being used further. So यहाँ पर which are the important activities to build the technical architect? Number 2, to build the database and programs. Database is for the back end and programs is for the front end. This is very important. For all these activities, that is for building the technical architecture, for building the databases and programmers, this is done by a team of IT specialists, which include a programmer, a network engineer, database developer, or two people can work together to write the source code also. Now the phase 5. From the phase 4, you have got now different modules already ready, जो कि programmed हो चुके हैं, जिनका कोडिंग हो चुका है, as well as the backend के लिए you have a DBMS system also ready. Now here the target for integration and testing phase is to test each and every module separately, integrate them and bring it for working condition. This phase involves system integration, that is integrating the various components or the various modules which are given by the implementation phase, and the system testing which is carried out by the quality assurance professionals to determine if the proposed system meets the business goals. So here system integration is done and system testing is done completely to determine, to check if the proposed system is able to give you the business goals or not. And this is done majorly by the quality assurance professionals. In this particular phase, it is verified if the system works and meets all the business requirements defined in the SRS of the analysis phase. All the requirements which were defined in the SRS in the software requirement specification of the analysis phase becomes the benchmark, becomes the baseline for checking that if the system is meeting all the business requirements or not. System testing is normally carried out in a planned manner according to the system test plan document to debug the errors completely. It is to be done in a planned manner, so none of the module is left unchecked. For that, system test plan document is made according to which the testing is done, and the aim is to debug the errors completely. There should be no error in any of the module or in the entire system. Each and every module is tested in isolation and later as an integrated system after being integrated. Which are the different types of testings which is done in this particular phase? Unit testing tests the individual units of code or module. It tests the individual units. That means each and every module is tested individually. Second is system testing, verifies that the units of code function correctly as per the requirements. That is, requirements are verified as per the system which is built. Integration testing verifies that separate subsystems work together in an integrated manner properly or not. Means the entire modules, they are working properly after being integrated smoothly or not. Now, user acceptance testing. It determines if the system satisfies the end user requirements or not. That means the end user must be satisfied after using the system. Black box testing, where the functionality of the system is tested without peering into the internal structures. Only we are talking about the functionality of the system. We are not bothering about its internal structures. This is called as black box testing. White box testing, this is opposite to black box testing, where we are not bothered about the functionality. We are checking each and every internal structure of your complete system. Your complete system is tested in detail. Each and every internal structure is tested in detail in the white box testing. In the volume testing, the volume of the data is increased and then the processing is carried out to check if the system works smoothly with the increased volume or not. Performance testing is testing the performance of the system only in terms of its responsiveness and stability. If the system is responsive and stable in terms of performance. Important activities of this phase is to perform all types of above testing and generate the test report documents of all individual modules also and integrated system also. Implementation phase 6. This phase is where the actual finished system is distributed to the users. To distribute the actual finished system to all the knowledge workers, and they begin to use the system to perform their everyday jobs. Here the system is actually given to the users, all the knowledge workers, means all the 3 levels of employees, so that they can use it, test it in the practical terms. So all the important activities here to be done is, number 1, write detailed user documentation or user manual. This is very important document here. User documentation clearly defines all steps of how to use the system. Any of the new user who is using the system can read the user documentation, can go through the user manual and easily use the system. For example, you are buying a new fully automatic machine. You don't know how to use it. Its user manual tells you how to connect it and use it. Now the second activity is to provide training to the system users. That is, it is very important to give training to the employees as well as the end users, so they can be comfortable with the use of the information system. It can be done online mode or offline mode, which can be through the instructor to all the members. Through this, it explains how to use the new implemented system properly and optimally to take the maximum benefit out of the system. So we have seen 2 activities. First is creating a user manual or a user document. Second is providing training to the system users. Now the third activity of the implementation phase is to choose the right implementation method. Now your system is ready, it has been tested, it has been integrated. How to deploy it to the users? There are so many approaches of the same. Number 1, parallel implementation. Use both old and new systems simultaneously. In case you are creating a new version of the old system, then both can be used simultaneously so that users can slowly get adapted with the new system. Plunge implementation. Discard the old system completely and use the new system now. Pilot implementation. Start with the small groups of people on the new system and gradually add 1 more users. Now what happens in the pilot implementation? Small group of people are being made comfortable and gradually new people are added to this usage of new system. Phased implementation. Implement the new system in phases. So these are the 4 approaches basically, and you can choose any one of them as per the need of the company to implement or deploy the system. So implementation phase carries out the major activities of creating user documentation, giving training and choosing the right implementation method. Now this maintenance phase is last phase and most important. This remains into existence till the time the software or information system is in use. It can be the lifetime, it can be 7 years, 8 years, till the time the system is not replaced by some other new system. Maintenance phase aims to monitor and support the new system. This is a support system basically to ensure it continues to meet the business goals. Maintenance requires much more than the effort necessary to develop the product itself. We have seen it in the very beginning that maintenance takes the maximum cost, which is 75%. Maintenance involves the different 3 kinds of activities which are listed below. Number 1, corrective maintenance. Correcting errors that were not discovered during the product development phase. This is called as corrective maintenance. When the product was getting developed, few of the errors might have been left. So correcting those errors in the due course of time when the system is in use or it is implemented. After that, correcting those errors is the corrective maintenance. Second is perfective maintenance. improving the implementation of the system and enhancing the functionalities of the system according to the customer's requirements. This is called as perfective maintenance. Now what happens once the system is in use or it has been implemented, the users are using the system, and the users or the customers might find few of the difficulties or can give their suggestions also, or they will give their feedback, and to work upon their feedback and improve the implementation of the system is the perfective maintenance. The third part is adaptive maintenance, porting the software to the work in new environment. This is called as adaptive maintenance, where the software is ported to the new environment and tried so that it can adapt easily. For example, porting may be required to get the software to work on a new computer platform or with a new operating system. If the software is to be used on two machines, one is having a Windows operating system, other is having a Linux operating system. In both the cases, how to adapt with the software to both these new environments. This is called as adaptive maintenance. Important activities of maintenance phase: to build a help desk to support the system users. Now what is a help desk? A group of people who responds to the queries of the end users or the knowledge workers. You have a group of people continuously working on a help desk so that all the knowledge workers or end users who are facing the certain problems or have queries can call and talk to the help desk people to get it sorted, and provide an environment to support system changes as per the need. Why this? Because for perfective maintenance, for corrective maintenance, for adaptive maintenance, it is important to have dynamic environment where all the support system changes can be done very easily. To provide such environment is an important activity of maintenance. With this, we have covered the entire system development life cycle in detail today. All the 7 steps, the targets, their activities. I hope you will be able to write very easily in the exams. Do write in the comment box. I'll surely reply you on your queries also. Our next topic will be system development methodologies or models. Means how this SDLC can be used actually in which different forms. Please do like, share and subscribe the channel. I'll be back soon with much more in the future. Till then, bye bye, take care, have a blessed time.